Hey guys, so are you thinking about moving to London, or maybe you've already got plans to do so? Well, in this video we're going to talk about our top 3 pros and cons of living in London. And as well as that, we're going to share our own personal experience just so you guys know what you're getting into and can decide whether moving to London is the right thing for you. A quick introduction, my name's Bavik and collectively with my wife we are binge travelling. So our motto is to make the most of your time wherever you are, and a lot of that with us, for us especially, is exploring the UK and what's around on our doorstep. Of course we go abroad whenever we can, but it's more about just actually making the most of your time wherever you are. So that can be with your family or whatever, just as long as you're enjoying yourself. Anyway, let's get right into it. Pro number 1, London is the most multicultural and diverse places in the UK that I have ever been to, and that's actually one of the driving reasons why I decided to live here. So on your daily, whether that's on your daily commute, your hobby, your work colleagues, you'll find people from different places with different faces wherever you are, and inevitably that will split into your social bubble, expanding it massively. It will make you a lot more culturally aware, which is really cool as well. So if you have a travelling mindset, London is definitely the place for you. Inevitably that spills into the food as well. So whatever you're looking for, whether that's Lebanese, Greek, Italian, Sri Lankan, you can also get some really quirky, gamey type restaurants as well. Whatever you're looking for, I guarantee you will find it in London. Obviously you get the usual Indian and Chinese restaurants that you get elsewhere in the UK. Those kind of cuisines have become a bit of a staple, but even then you can still get some pretty authentic places as well. So definitely one of the greatest things about London is its multicultural diversity. Moving on to pro number 2, London generally has longer opening hours. So have you guys ever had that situation where you finish work and you want to get your laundry done at a laundrette, or you want to get your hair cut, or I don't know, doing your nails? I don't do my nails, but if you did want to do your nails, your nail salon shut, that kind of thing. Generally, you will not have that issue in London. Things just are open longer. It's just it could be a big city thing, but generally things are open longer, and it kind of spills into kind of moving, travelling around the city as well. So I'm talking about the tube here. So the tubes all operate until at least midnight. You do have the night tube that operates until, I believe it's 4 a.m, but that only really operates on some, not all lines. The night bus, on the other hand, is kind of wider reaching, which is awesome, because what it means is if you've had a night out or whatever, you're not completely dependent on taxis. You can take public transport if you want to, which not all cities have, let's face it. Another big pro of London is its variety of events. So annually, it's got so many events, I couldn't possibly name them all, but some big ticket ones include the London Marathon, the Wireless Music Festival, London's Pride Festival, which celebrates the LGBT community, as well as the Notting Hill Carnival, which celebrates generally Caribbean culture, which is just super fun and super vibrant, and it's a great thing to be part of, and it's just brilliant in every way, really. But also, like, London attracts, the main thing about it is London attracts the best talent from all over the world, almost on a weekly basis. So it's actually got the quantity and the quality at the same time, which not a lot of cities can say that they do. But London definitely does that. We love the pop-up markets that appear now and again in London. So big companies like Nike or Nutella, or from food to sports or whatever, they have these pop-up stalls and they do really quirky things. So I remember one time my wife came to visit me when we were dating in London, and she found a Nutella pop-up stall and went with one of my friends as well. I think they got free pancakes and stuff. So yeah, pretty good stuff like that. If you like Nutella, check out London. it's not all rosy, you know. In London, you can have some cons, and one of those is congestion. So London is known for being really busy, especially during rush hour. Tubes can get super packed. You can feel like you are a sardine in a sardine can. Sometimes you're literally just squashed in. And not just that, the roads can get really busy as well. So if you're thinking, I'll drive, I won't take the tube, and that way I'll avoid the congestion, think again. It's not really going to happen that way. Even with the congestion charge in the week, London is super busy, so you will be sitting basically in a traffic jam all the time. If you still want to drive, we definitely recommend driving an automatic car as opposed to a manual gear stick shift car, just because with all that starting and stopping, you don't want to keep changing gear all the time. What's the point? But yeah, on that note, travelling around London, the best way to do it is through public transport. Yes, you may be squashed in, but on the other hand, you're never squashed in for that long. People are always moving, and sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you do get lucky and have all the space in the world. So it happens. Another con. Okay, London is expensive. Comparatively speaking, it's not everything. I mean, a lot of things cost the same, but things like your accommodation, the general cost of alcohol in bars and those kind of things, and transport. They are very expensive comparatively speaking to the rest of the UK, and it's actually understandable. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. The point is, it will add up in your when it comes to your day-to-day costs. So, whilst you may be earning comparatively a little bit more when you live in London, you got to factor in the fact that your costs will go up as well. I mean, for a room in a shared house in London, in central London, it will cost you around £800, and for that, you only have your room. You'll have a shared bathroom, a shared living room, a shared kitchen. Basically, everything is shared, so don't expect to have your own stuff. And also, those rooms are in extremely high demand, so when you do find a place like that, make sure you snap it up quickly if you want to live in central London. But hey. Con number 3, so work-life balance. So moving to the capital may mean that you end up working in some industries that are known for their longer working hours. So financial services industry is one of them, for instance. And it's important to bear that in mind for wherever you live, because, for instance, a lot of these industries have kind of regular after-work drinks or after-work events like talks and things like that, and that will obviously eat into your day on a daily basis, which will mean that you'll get home a bit later. Now, some of you guys might love that, but just bear in mind that it will eat into your day. But also, if you're living like on the outskirts of London, the commuting times into London typically can be anything from 45 minutes to 1.5 hours each way, which obviously means you'll get less sleep and all those kind of things. So you just have to bear that in mind. I mean, it can be that long, it can be less. We'll go into that a bit later, but that's just the way it is. One thing I think I said about the expensiveness of London, if you think about the number of people that are in there, so I mentioned earlier there are 9 million people occupying the city. The city's not that big. Demand really outstrips supply, so when it comes to everything, from bars and everything like that, everybody's rates are expensive. Everybody's paying a higher charge, and ultimately that passes on to us, the consumer. So it is understandable in a lot of ways. We pay the premium, but then again, it's a great city, so hey, that's just the way it is. So, as promised, we're going to go into our personal experience and share our tips of when we moved to London. So, when I secured my first job living in London, I had no idea where to start looking. But I knew of 3 other people moving to the city, and luckily we were all working in a similar industry that was kind of based in the same area in London. So we decided to live together in East London due to the commuting time into the city. I think it was the most favourable when we were looking kind of at outskirts cities and towns. We wanted to live on the outskirts because we wanted to save money. And one great thing that we did was rent a house on one tenancy agreement, and that was between the four of us. I think we paid around £450 each with all bills included. So I mean, that is a steal. If you tell anybody, when I tell anybody that I paid that much in London, they just don't believe me because it's so cheap. But inevitably, that allowed me to save money, get my own place, and do all those kind of things, which really would have just been unachievable if I'd lived in central London. But another thing about my accommodation, you might think that I gave up, commuting time and all that kind of thing. I was only a 10-minute walk away from the station, and once I got to the station, it was only a 20-minute journey into the centre of London, which is actually a lot less than a lot of people who live in central London. And as well as that, I had alternative routes into work as well. So I mean, I had 2 other stations that I could leverage if, say, my train was delayed or something like that. And that's actually leads me on to a really important point. Wherever you're choosing to live, and if it is on the outskirts of London, make sure you've got a few routes into the city. Trains are unpredictable, you can get delays, and you want to make sure that wherever you choose to live, you're never kind of in a situation where you can't get into work, because 1, it doesn't help your reputation, and 2, it's just irritating. So don't be in that situation. Also, look at the amount of money that it will cost you to travel into the city. Your rail card is loads, so if it costs you loads to travel into the city every day, it kind of defeats the point of having cheap accommodation. It might actually work out just to live in central London, so factor in all your costs before you sign on the dotted line anywhere, really. Another thing that you just need to be aware of is central London really isn't that big. I mean, it's tiny, I mean really small. So what I'm talking about here is the fact that you can literally walk anywhere. So Covent Garden and Leicester Square, for instance, they're basically the same place. You don't need to take a tube in between either of them. In fact, when we go to Covent Garden, we actually go to Leicester Square and then just walk. It's so close. Don't get trapped in kind of taking tubes everywhere around central London. 1, you don't get to know the city very well, and 2, you end up spending money unnecessarily. So just make sure you've got all that sorted out. So there you have it. We've gone over our pros, our cons, and our personal experience of going to London. And if you guys want to find out more, be sure to check out our blog post, bingetravelling.com/moving to London, where we have some specific information on your monthly costs of what we think you should budget for on a monthly basis when moving to London, as well as some other kind of tips like London etiquette and stuff like that. We really hope you found this video useful. It is our first one, so please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit on that bell notification, as we will be bringing out videos every single week from now on. Yay! Thanks guys, over and out.